Wow, limited edition. Thanks, Santa. Christmas is coming up, and it is, without a doubt, my favorite holiday. So today I want to be doing my Brigade's very first Christmas special. So let me tell you about the idea. I want to take one of my all-time favorite sets, Lego 6082 Fire Breathing Fortress, and turn it into Fire Breathing Christmas Fortress. I want to add snow to the layout. I want to build Santa's sleigh coming out of the gate, the dragon's den, maybe getting pulled by the dragon. That would be cool. I want to add Christmas touches to everything, maybe some technique functions. Let's do this. I'm looking for white bricks. It's gonna be good. I have so many great ideas. These plates are gonna be the base. I'm gonna make a new base plate for it. I'm still gonna be using the old one, but I'm gonna attach it to a white. To start off in this build, we have to make sure we have a cool base plate and a cool layout for the build. So I'm gonna take 32 by 32 base plates. I think I'm gonna use those in white and create a white base plate for it. We finished the base plate. Let's attach the fire breathing winter. And the cool thing with Lego base plates and the base plates for sets, old sets from the 90s and 80s, is that you can put them on a base plate and then add a plate and then connect the two. So you can actually connect your old sets to new base plates by doing this and add them to layouts. It's a really cool technique. The plan for the story is to have the fiery knights, the dragon knights, have them kidnap Santa. I think I'm gonna build an iceberg or glacier in front of the castle and have the sleigh coming out of the castle. The iceberg, I want to add lights to it. I want to have a mechanism so the sleigh's maybe going up and down or something, some sort of movement for the iceberg. I made a major blunder building the iceberg. I did not account for the amount of room that I needed for the lights and the mechanism. I had to redo the entire iceberg and I spent hours building this thing. It's built in 1x2 plates, so you have to put so many pieces on and I could not reuse any of it. Major blunder on my part. That's what happens when you don't have a plan going into it and you just go with the flow. That was dumb. And I redid the entire thing and it was terrible, but it looks so good now. It's really, really nice with the lights. I can't wait to finish the layout. I've almost finished working on the glacier, rebuilding it, adding those lights, and something terrible has happened. Take a look at this. The brick pit has completely exploded. We need to do something about this. Not today, but maybe during this Christmas. I ended up having to troubleshoot the technique function for the iceberg because I was very limited to the size of the gearbox that I have. So I troubleshooted my way to a solution that I think solves two problems. I think I came up with a pretty cool solution. I'm not the most experienced technique builder, so I kind of just try things out and see what works and what doesn't. I wanted the dragon to have movement and I wanted the sleigh to move with it. But the thing that I came up with, I'm gonna open the box. So what I have here are these two gears. They're being turned by the motor in the iceberg. And what I thought at first I would do is, I would take these four, I think they're called wedge belt wheels. I would attach them here to one of the gears and just have it turn around. And my first thought was to add this here axle with a little gear on and have it being pushed up and down by the wheels. So this way we would get some movement on the dragon. But what I quickly found out is that, of course, it will rotate. So the dragon would go anywhere he wanted. So what I came up with was to add a second axle to this. And this actually ended up solving two issues of the build. I wanted movement on the sleigh as well, and I wanted to keep the dragon from turning. So by adding it like this, I all of a sudden got two axles which I could rely on and build stuff on. And it also allows me to add the sleigh to one and the dragon to another. I would have loved for the dragon and the sleigh to be out of sync. I was not able to do that, but it still works. It still looks awesome. I have the Santa sleigh set, and it is perfect for building a smaller Santa sleigh for the wizard. So I can just tear it apart and use all the pieces as I see fit. So I built this amazing little sleigh with the wizard in it, and I was very happy with how it turned out, how it looked. One of my favorite details about the fire-breathing fortress is the dragon set. It's so iconic. It's an original detail and it's quite detailed for its time. Lego didn't do those sorts of details for their castles or their police stations in the 90s, the 80s. And I wanted to do something with it, but not tamper with it. So I ended up adding a Santa's hat for it. And it's so cute. And I turned the headlight bricks around and found a snot solution for the ears so that I was able to add lights to the eyes, and this was one of the final things I did, and it turned out so good. It's, you sometimes just have that final touch that just completes the set, and that was it for me. I ended up just adding a bunch of snow and it looks so aesthetically pleasing. I added white plates for snow on the floors of the castle, because there's gonna be people moving there, so the snow doesn't have to be all smooth. Whereas the snow outside of the castle in the forest area is completely covered in tiles and slopes to add more of a smooth texture to the snow. So the snow on the castle where there's gonna be people moving is in plates, and then everywhere else is gonna be tiles and slopes. I made sure that there's this one red roof where it's a little bit bigger, so I could do some more work with the snow. So I made sure that you could see, like, the snow will always try to force its way downwards. It's just how gravity works, science. So you have the red roof visible in the top and then some snowy area on the bottom of the roof. I added a little road going up to the castle. I am not a big fan of these very textury roads. I just try to do a brown layer underneath and then add a little bit of texture. So like I add a little bit of 1x1 pieces in different colors and round pieces to add some texture, but not so it's completely over texturized. I added piles of snow to the outside of the castle built with slopes. It's almost like building a sea, so you have like waves of snow. It just adds a very dynamic texture and a very dynamic look. I want to show you guys how to do some pretty awesome pine trees. This is a design that I designed for Lego Masters, and I think some other people have used it as well and probably came up with it as well. And first off, we're gonna need a bunch of leaves. You can choose whatever color you like for your trees, but since we're doing the winter fortress, we are gonna go with white and dark green for snow-covered pine trees. Second, you're gonna need a bunch of these 2x2 round bricks with an axle hold in the middle. A gear, the 40-tooth one is perfect. You're gonna need an axle, 2 small leaves. You're gonna need a twig, which originally I think this was the top of a carrot. You're gonna need a bar and a clip with a bar hold. To get started, we just take 3 of the round pieces and put them together. We add the axle and we add the cock, the gear. Next, what we do is we just add a bunch of this and we just estimate how tall do we want our tree to be, and we add bricks accordingly. So I'm gonna stop here. What we do next is we start weaving leaves together. To do this, you take the leaves and you weave them together like this. For my bottom layer, I want about 8 leaves. I want to weave a single white leaf into the bottom. Lastly, we just weave them together. So now we can add this to the trunk of the tree. We're gonna need about 3 more. For the second layer, I take 3 green leaves, mix them in with the white. And then for layer 3 and 4, we're gonna do purely white leaves. This here second layer, I just want there to be 7 leaves in. And then we're gonna do another 7, and then we're gonna finish it off with a single 6 layer. So before I add this layer, I'm gonna add a bar to the top of the tree. I'm gonna take the 2 small leaves, I'm gonna put them on the twig, add the clip in between, and put the other one on the twig as well. They're facing away from each other. This way there's a little bit more room for the clip to be in there. And then we add them to the top of the tree. And we take the last layer and we put it up. And there you have it, a really, really cool pine tree. I am so happy with this design and I use it all the time in my mugs. We have a Nightmare Before Christmas story right here. We have a jealous wizard. He's jealous of Santa. He's realized Santa is a more powerful wizard than he is. So he's on a vendetta to take out Santa. He's imprisoned him in the castle. He's taken his sleigh. He's rounding up all the Nissa. I actually, while building this, I always get inspired by all sorts of stories. And Nightmare Before Christmas is obvious, but another one is Shrek, where the evil count rounds up all the fairy tale creatures
and puts them in this swamp together, Shrek's swamp. And I think it's a little bit of that going on right here, where the evil dragon count and the evil wizard is rounding up all the Nissa and Santa and the reindeer and putting them somewhere, maybe. We'll see.
My favorite detail in both the original set, but also the fire-breathing Christmas fortress, is this here dragon set. It's a signature for the set, and I did not want to temper with it. So I just ended up adding a little bit of light to the eyes and also this Santa's hat. And I think it just completed the build. The lights were some of the last things that I added to the build, and it was that little detail that pulled it all together. It needed that. Also, adding snow to the entire layout and to the castle added that Christmassy vibes. I am so excited, as you can tell. It's super cool. The story is a little bit Nightmare Before Christmassy. We're gonna change that in part 2, coming up.
Doggy. Ain't my dog. See you next Friday, guys.